StudyIQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
Hello, namaskar, namaskara, namaskaram, namaskar. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Welcome to my class, The Daily Current Affairs, where I will make you understand how to tackle preliminary 2024 examination and how we must relate it with the current affairs. Before I begin the class, I would like to inform you about three different P2I batches that we are launching from 10th of July onwards at 8 a.m. on a daily basis. Apart from the live classes and the study materials, which will be delivered at your doorstep, you will also be able to access prelims test series, mains test series, daily answer writing practice, current affairs module, mentorship session, and most importantly, for those of you who are going to qualify prelims 2024, you will be called to the Study IQ campus where we will provide you lodging and all sorts of facility for mains residential program in which you will be taught how to tackle the mains examination. I will take up international relations in the English batch of prelims to interview. And if you want to get enrolled in this particular batch, Hindi, English or English, you can visit the website, use the code PDLive and get it for 29,999 only. If you want the PDF of this class, many of the students have been asking about the PDFs. I have told you that you will get it at Pooja Dwivedi StudyIQ UPSC, the Telegram channel. If you have any questions regarding whatever I am teaching, as well as anything else regarding UPSC, you can talk to me on my Instagram as well. Now, these are the many events that we are going to tackle today. First, let's see this question. With respect to the Belt and Road Initiative, consider the following statements. China's efforts to create its own more secure trade routes is one of its aim. The Chinese government along with the private sector is funding the BRI and the China-Europe Express Railway is a part of the Belt and Road Initiative. So, how many of the statements given above is or are correct? The Belt and Road Initiative, which is the flagship program of the current president of China, Xi Jinping. It was touted in the year 2013 in order to connect the so-called erstwhile maritime Silk Road of China and the other regions of the world. So we have a Belt and the Road Initiative. First and the most important of the aims for China here is to ensure that it is securing its own trade routes. I will tell you how. But yes, it is one of the first major aims. Then the Chinese government along with the private sector is not funding the BRI. In fact, it is the Chinese government only through its 4 state-owned banks that it is doing so. Private sector participation is not there and private sector doesn't even want to participate because of the low returns. The China-Europe Express Railway is one of the major, you can say, flagship schemes of BRI along with China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So first is correct, second is not correct, third is correct. 2 only will be the correct answer. Recently, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization heads of states meeting happened in a virtual format under the presidency of India. Iran joined the SCO as a full-time member in the current presidency of India. Remember that. Now SCO has 9 members. Remember that. India has refused to sign the paragraph which supported Belt and Road Initiative, much like the Samarkand dialogue in which India again did not support the Belt and Road Initiative. It's the ambitious plan to develop the 2 new trade routes which will connect China and the rest of the world. This is how it will go. The blue region are the countries, the white region is the oceanic region. And as I told you that one of the major aims of China is to secure its trade routes because most of the trade happens from China from the Strait of Malacca. Singapore is a close ally of the USA. That is why it wants to ensure that it will surpass USA's control through Strait of Malacca, the Malacca Dilemma, and also go through other regions. That is why it is wanting to secure its own trade routes. Remember. Then, of course, another one is the initiative, which is the legacy of the 2008 financial crisis. During the 2008 financial crisis, China was one of the first responders when it comes to initiating funding support. Now, China has looked at it and thought, why not make the other countries interdependent with the Chinese economy? So that is why it is also doing it from this particular aim, the Belt and Road Initiative. And the other important element is, of course, the importance of Chinese influence should grow in the entire region. China should be, you can say, another polar region if anybody doesn't want to choose USA. So this is what China wants to do. As I have already told you this, just remember that it is being done only through the Chinese government. And other governments have said that why aren't you including the private sector? So that is why the debt issues are becoming larger. The CPEC corridor, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, that passes through the Gilgit-Baltistan region of India, is one of the major concerns for India. That is why India is not supporting it. One of the reasons why India is not supporting it. When you are passing through our territory, you are undermining our sovereignty by calling it the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. But of course, China never took India's consideration into account. The China-Europe Express Railway is a very prestigious achievement because it has slashed the Chinese trade to Europe by 15 good days. That is why China is doing all this, to get more access for its market creation. Consider the following. It is the widest grown millet in India. It is known as sorghum millet. Maharashtra and Karnataka account for 52% of the cultivation. It is a drought-resistant cereal. Which millet is being referred to by the above statements? C. The widest grown millet in India is the sorghum millet. That means sorghum millet is another name for jowar. We have the options bajra, ragi, jowar, kuttu. Okay. Mostly all the millets are drought-resistant, so this could be one of the contentious statements. But if you look at the other three, you will be able to understand that we are talking about jowar over here. Alright. So jowar will be the correct answer, option C. The Indian School of Business has said that right now climate change is very prominent and quite severe. India would do good that if it bets on millets such as jowar, because these are much less sensitive to the climate change, like wheat already is very sensitive. So a paper, Climate Resilience of Dry Season Cereals in India, it has been published in Nature's Scientific Report, where it is being said that wheat is highly sensitive to the different types of climate change because it has a longer period of from germination to harvest. It has a longer period to grow. That is why it is much more sensitive and prone to, if there are any changes in the weather pattern, it will be affected. The production will be affected. Now, jowar is drought resistant. Also, it is much less dependent on water. Wheat is highly dependent on water. So, in order to decrease the carbon footprint as well as decrease the usage of water in irrigation facilities, India's best bet would be to bet on jowar cultivation. Jowar or sorghum, it is the prized healthy alternative to maida, and it is fiber-rich millet which is cultivated extensively in India. If we talk about the states, Maharashtra stands first, then we have Karnataka, after that we have Tamil Nadu, after that we have, I guess this is Rajasthan, then this is Uttar Pradesh, the dark blue one, we have in between Andhra Pradesh. Remember that, okay? And it is named by different names as well, such as Durra, Egyptian millet, great millet, kafir corn, feterita, Guinea corn, Sudan grass, Milo and Juvar. Also in Marathi, it is known as Jwari. In Tamil, it is known as Cholam. In Kannada, it is known as Jolal. In Telugu, it is known as Jonnalu. Because Prelims is really fond of asking such questions, that is why I have included it. It is a flowering plant. It belongs to the grass family of Poaceae. It is cultivated globally in Australia, Africa, Asia as well as Central America. Moving on. If a person wishes to travel from Egypt to Turkey through the land border, then what is the correct order of the countries they will come across en route? These are the countries they will travel through. We have to choose the correct answer using the following codes. So why have I asked you this question? Because Egypt and Turkey, they took a step further in consolidating their diplomatic ties by dispatching ambassadors for the first time since 2013. These two countries withdrew their ambassadors when Egyptian military ousted the Islamist president Mohammed Morsi. Mohammed Morsi hailed from the Muslim Brotherhood, which was supported by Turkey, and Egypt designated this group as a terrorist organization. But now things are coming back. So let's see. Here is Egypt and here is Turkey. And as I wish to travel, suppose I am the person, I will first cross the Sinai Peninsula. This is the Sinai Peninsula. We'll reach Israel first, then Jordan, then Lebanon, then Syria, and then I will go to Turkey. Okay. So first, of course, we have Israel. Okay. Then Jordan, then Lebanon, and then Syria. It is the correct order. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Option D is the correct answer. Okay. Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria. Alright. Moving ahead. With respect to El Nino, consider the following statements. During an El Nino event, westward blowing trade winds weaken along the equator. Scientists use the oceanic Nino index to predict El Nino event, and El Nino events occur regularly at 2 to 7 years interval. How many statements given above is or are correct? El Nino is a phenomenon which means unusual warming of the Western Pacific Ocean. Okay, and it is not a regular phenomenon, remember that. Although the time range could be between 2 to 7 years, but it is not regular. The key word here is regularly, but it occurs irregularly. So third statement, because of this keyword, becomes incorrect. We get confused because of these certain words. Yes, they do have a time span of between 2 to 7, but we do not know at what regular intervals they will occur. So prelims can be tricky when it comes to these kind of questions. What do we have to do? We have to mindfully read everything and we have to ensure that we revise it. Okay. So option 3 becomes incorrect. Option 2 is also incorrect. Why? Because oceanic Nino index is referred when we need to know about the deviation of ocean temperature. But it cannot be predicted. El Nino can never be predicted. Keep this in mind. So second is also incorrect. Then, yes, during an El Nino, the westward blowing trade winds, they weaken along the equator. That is why the western, you can say Western Pacific Ocean, because of the similar reason, one of the similar reasons, becomes warmer. Okay. So first statement is correct. Second and third are not correct. One only will be the correct answer. Now, according to the US National Center for Environmental Prediction, July 3rd was the hottest day recorded globally. Hottest year as of yet has been 2016. But because of the El Nino event, it is being predicted that 2023 will surpass 2016 to become the hottest year. And if we talk about August 2016, back then the temperature was 16.92 degrees Celsius. This was the surpass of the temperature threshold. But it has been, much more higher. So that is why it has been attributed to the El Nino event. El Nino is one part of the El Nino Southern Oscillation. And another one is La Nina. La Nina is cooling of the water. El Nino is warming of the Western Pacific waters. In general times, what happens? In general, without El Nino years, we see that here, this area of the Western Pacific, which is near Chile and Peru, this is colder, and because of the upwelling, we have a lot of fisheries over here. And this region, the Eastern Pacific Ocean, is warmer. But in El Nino years, what happened? That this region becomes hotter and this is the cooler. And that creates a chain reaction for the entire weather system. Because of the weakening of the westward trade winds on the equator, that is why this water cannot be pushed over here. Why? Because westward trade winds are weaker. So this is the reason that El Nino occurs. Okay. Moving on. El Nino has an impact on ocean temperatures because they become warmer, speed and strength of ocean currents, even health of coastal fisheries. During, you can say, non-El Nino years, because of the upwelling, rich nutrients come over here, too much fisheries over here, fish catches really good. But during El Nino years, because this region becomes warmer, fishes, fishery health, not fishes, fishery health becomes really bad. It impacts local weather from Australia to South America to India to every region in the world. El Nino events occur irregularly at 2 to 7 years of interval. El Nino is not a regular cycle, or it cannot be also predicted. Scientists use the ONI to measure deviation from the normal sea temperature, and El Nino events are indicated by sea surface temperatures which increases more than 0.9 degree Fahrenheit for at least 5 successive 3-month seasons. Remember that. India has won the South Asian Football Federation Championship 2023 by beating which of the following countries? Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Lebanon, Kuwait. Okay, remember this. So, first of all, you need to know about the members of the SAFFF. If you do not know it, please Keep on watching. South Asian Football Federation. That means most of the countries are from South Asia. But these two countries are not from South Asia. Still they played. Why? Because we wanted more competition. That is why they were invited. India beat Kuwait to win SAFF 2023. Okay, moving on. This is a South Asian regional tournament which is looked after by SAFF. There are 7 teams including Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Afghanistan was also a part, but it withdrew in 2015. Before starting the match, as per rankings, Lebanon was the highest ranked team, followed by India, Kuwait, Nepal, Pakistan, Maldives, Bhutan and Bangladesh. Okay. With respect to International Atomic Energy Agency, consider the following statements. Its headquarters is in New York. It reports annually to the United Nations General Assembly, and it is a party to the Non-Proliferation Treaty and serves a key verification role under it. What do we have to see? Which of the statements, how many of the statements given above is or are not correct? See, sometimes so many important international organizations are in the news. We seldom mix the headquarters. So importantly, you have to remember the headquarters. It has its headquarters in Vienna, Austria. Okay, and not New York. It has its regional office in New York, but not headquarters. It, yes, reports to the United Nations General Assembly annually. As the need exists, it can also report to the United Nations Security Council. But remember, it is UNGA and not UNSC annually. When the need occurs, they can also report to the UNSC when it comes to security. But annually, it is UNGA. And it is not at all a party to the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Remember that. But it does serve a very important role when it comes to verification. So first statement is incorrect, second is correct, third is incorrect. We had to select the not correct ones. 2 only will be the correct answer. Now, Japan has recently received the approval from United Nations International Atomic Energy Agency, as it is a part of the UN, to drift out the water from the Fukushima nuclear power plant. Because of the issues with earthquake, it damaged Fukushima. And now the water, it needed to go off, and that is why this particular news is really important. A map question could also be asked from here. Now, it will release water in the Pacific Ocean, but radiation is still a problem, although it has received a go-ahead from IAEA. This serves as the world's foremost intergovernmental forum when it comes to scientific and technical cooperation in the field of nuclear policy, and also ensures safe use of civil nuclear, civil nuclear energy. It is not for military use, and it was established in 1957. It is also known as Atoms for Peace. It is an autonomous international organization within the United Nations system. It works under the UN. It has 164 member states headquartered at Vienna, Austria. Operational offices also include in Geneva, New York, Toronto and Tokyo. It has scientific laboratories in Vienna and Monaco. And it also supports research centers such as one in Italy. It is not a party to the NPT, but plays a verification role. And what its statute says, the rules under which it is governed, it reports annually to the UNGA. As the need occurs, it can also go to the UNSC. Consider the following pairs: type of hydrogen and the process through which they are made. Hydrogen has no color, but we have to understand the process through which they are made. They are designated colors according to that. Yellow hydrogen, white hydrogen, pink hydrogen. Yellow hydrogen is hydrogen made through electrolysis using solar power. White hydrogen occurs naturally, and it is geological hydrogen which is found and created through fracking of the rocks. And then we have pink. It is produced mainly from natural gas using a process called steam reforming. So what do we have to see? We have to see how many pairs given above is or are correct. When we talk about yellow hydrogen, yes, it is prepared with the help of renewable energy, which is solar energy. That is why sun is yellow, we have yellow hydrogen. White hydrogen is a naturally occurring hydrogen, and it is produced through fracking of the rocks. But right now we do not have the proper technology to do it. So second is also correct. Pink hydrogen is actually a hydrogen that is produced through nuclear energy. Okay, so remember, third is incorrect. First is correct, second is correct, third is incorrect. 2 only will be the correct answer. The World Bank today has approved $1.5 billion of financing in accelerating India's plan to achieve zero carbon. And this is the first in the two operations and aims at supporting India's aim to produce green hydrogen, which is made by using clean energy from surplus renewable energy sources such as solar energy, wind energy, in which electrolyzers use an electrochemical reaction which is generated through the renewable energy, and the components are turned into hydrogen and oxygen, which has zero carbon. When we talk about blue hydrogen, it is produced through natural gas using a process called steam reforming. It brings together the natural gas and heated water in the form of steam. The output is hydrogen, but we also emit greenhouse gases. But when we capture and store it, then it is known as blue hydrogen. We have grey hydrogen. Grey hydrogen is made from the similar process like the blue hydrogen. But why do we call it grey hydrogen? Because here the carbon or the greenhouse gas emissions, these are not captured. And this is the widest or the most common process through which hydrogen is produced. Pink hydrogen is generated through electrolysis, which is powered by nuclear energy. This is a new kind of hydrogen, turquoise hydrogen, and it is used by a process called methane pyrolysis, in which carbon is the outcome in solid form. It could be permanently stored or used. Right now, it is not produced on a very large scale, but it is one of the future, turquoise hydrogen. Then we have white hydrogen, which I have already told you about. Yellow, I have also already told you about. So remember these kind of spectrum of hydrogen, because it is important that you know about all of these sorts of hydrogen. I hope you liked this section. Please do subscribe to my Telegram channel. Then you can also access the PDF with answer key. Thank you so much.
StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।